What happens when the thing you've barely dared to dream for actually comes true? How does it change you when what you've been believing for and almost given up hope on finally becomes reality? The Redefining Possible podcast spotlights guests with stories of insurmountable odds who have witnessed the impossible become possible with God. Welcome to Redefining Possible. I'm your host, Peyton Hoffman, and with me today is Rey Viquez. We're going to be talking about life transformation and the sobriety journey and spirituality, and I am so excited to dive right in with Rey. Rey, welcome so much to Redefining Possible.
Peyton, I am delighted to be here, honored truly to be here, and really excited to share with you some of the journey, the experiences, and of course learn from you as well.
Oh no, this is my honor, and it's just so wonderful to have you on the show. And tell us a little bit, just for those who maybe aren't familiar with your work or don't know you personally, a little bit about your background. I know you're from Nicaragua, and you've done quite a bit in the furniture creation, furniture design in the past, but more on the commercial side. Is that right?
Yes, actually, look, I definitely from Nicaragua, grew up in Miami, high school in Miami, art school in Chicago, grad school in LA, and that's how I came to LA. And basically my training is in architecture.
Okay.
You know, architecture, interior design. And my career, I started in interiors of commercial projects at Gensler, which is the largest architecture firm in the world.
Wow.
And that was my foundation to my career. And basically there at Gensler, I always did the creative offices for Sony, DreamWorks.
Oh, fantastic.
Disney, did work for Disney. Yeah, so that's how I started
Yeah.
here in LA.
What a creative way to get started in LA. I mean, so many people come to LA with a dream, and it takes them years to just get an opportunity like that. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. Look, for me, definitely to start out my career that way. It's funny because when I was in grad school in architecture at UCLA, folks, I used to tell people I want to start in corporate. And I had a pretty good idea. I wanted to start in corporate as a foundation. And to this day and age, many years after that, I still have clients from Gensler.
Oh, that's amazing.
So my own company, I opened 16 years ago.
Okay.
And we started architecture and interior design. And that became residential and commercial.
Fantastic.
And the one thing I want to share with you for sure is that at some point about 8 years ago, we were building 3 houses up in the hills. I had a team of 12 professionals. I had a couple licensed architects.
Oh my goodness.
And I went to the construction of one of our projects. And literally after the construction meeting, I thought to myself, I absolutely hate this.
Wow. All right. Hold that thought. We're going to get into that. I love that though. I love this solid foundation that you had both with family. Did you believe in God during these years? I mean, was there a faith component of this or not yet?
Well, not yet, I will tell you. I definitely come from a very creative family. My father's also an architect and an engineer, and my mother worked in fashion. She still works in fashion.
Love that.
And so I basically was always super into what they did. You know,
Very creative.
I wanted to go to my dad's office, and I would always look for the floor plan because he did huge projects in Nicaragua and then in Miami. We moved to Miami. That's where I went to high school, and I always wanted to see the floor plan with the furniture, which we'll get to at some point. And then with my mom, her creative process was always to me unbelievable. You know, the passion, and I was
the design of everything as well. To come from such a creative, foundation and family is. Not everybody gets that. So that's really special to have just grown up in that, where creativity was really not just flourishing, but also, expected almost.
Well, you know what, I was definitely encouraged, and I really appreciated that they really encouraged, when I said I wanted to study art in Chicago. At first, I think they thought I was crazy, so did the rest of the family. And then they were very encouraging, my father especially, very encouraging of that. And he said to me, you should go to art school, and then you should go to grad school in architecture, because I don't think you're ready for architecture school.
Wow.
And he was absolutely correct.
Wow.
So
wisdom, I like that.
Yeah, for sure. And then with my mom, I was always the kid, oh, Mom, how's this dress coming out? And, oh, these buttons, no, what do you think about this? There was always like an amazing creative synergy in our family. My sister sister is also a very creative person, and she was always, involved. It's been a really wonderful.
I love that.
Yeah, wonderful.
So you were creating all the time, and the creative process can be really hard, I know, for some people. How did alcohol start to play a role in this?
Well, let's talk about that, because I was definitely the super introverted kid, painfully introverted, because I wasn't the football quarterback in high school, and I was definitely the loner kid into my sketch pad and my watercolors and my oil painting. I mean, I ripped the carpeting in my bedroom and was always painting and drawing.
Wow.
So that became the place I went to. And then regarding alcohol, to be honest with you, definitely started when I was in art school.
Wow, so early.
Oh yeah, it became an escape, because there were some realities that I didn't want to face.
Yeah.
And so, I was always the kid that worked hard and played hard. And of course I gravitated towards the kids that did that. In grad school, my friends from grad school are my family.
Right.
We're still all good friends. And yeah, we were definitely the partiers, and also the ones that would be up all night, night after night, working on our projects. And so, then in my early, my early career, definitely it started to become a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, started to become a problem.
So you did notice it when you were out here in LA and working, and there were things that started to come up that were like, this is not great.
For sure. In my early 30s, definitely, so my friends were starting to get married and move on to other phases in life. I still was the young person that still wanted to work hard and party hard. And so therefore I started to really see, and I did have a problem, with a DUI.
Okay.
And then I quit drinking for about 12 years on my own.
Wow. So no program involved, just...
No program involved. And that was a mistake. I really should have gone into a program.
Okay.
And what's ironic is I thought I could drink normally again without a problem.
Yeah.
And that was when I went into the Beverly Hills Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, only Latino person on the board at that time.
Wow.
And of course all the events, and I got caught in
There's
the
a lot of
moment.
events.
And I thought I could drink again normally, and it definitely was not a good idea. With the pandemic, I was, as we were all shut into our homes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell me really quick, you mentioned something that I think is really important. You said, I shouldn't have done it on my own. I should have had a program. For folks that are listening or watching that maybe feel like, oh, I can do this on my own. Can expand on why that was, because 12 years is 12 years. I mean, that's incredible. But maybe expand for those who are watching or listening, or who have loved ones that are in this, just why that was not a good idea. Like looking back, you can say, I shouldn't have done it that way.
Look, the key thing to any addiction, and nowadays I think there's more addictions than ever with our phones and with the media and with all the opportunities we have to become addicts. Any addiction, when you start studying about it, it's about isolation.
Yeah.
And so when I say I didn't go into a program and that was a mistake, really most programs that are successful are about building a community and having a community of friends and folks that are going through the same thing. And get yourself out of your head.
Yes, that's so good.
Get yourself out of your head.
It's so good, because you can be your own worst enemy. Absolutely.
Oh, it is definitely, I think, the worst feeder of addiction, your own head, being in your own mind, and all the distortions that we create in our own minds. And so, for myself, I definitely, when I found community in recovery, that really has been very successful for me.
Wow, so that's definitely been like a linchpin of your sobriety journey and of your success, has been having this community of brothers or sisters, who are just really like, hey, not only am I in this alongside you, but are they holding you accountable, and they're kind of, really helping you with that? You
know what, absolutely. It's definitely about, number one, not being isolated, not being inside your head, but also the community, the support, the camaraderie. In my case, I will tell you, it's about brothers, sisters, a few trans folks that I'm friends with. And for me, it has been essential this second time around.
Wow,
for sure.
That's amazing. And just to come back to that and to go through that journey again too, is just incredible. And we'll get into kind of what was that moment that, kind of led to coming back into this too. More here with Rey Viquez on Redefining Possible right when we come back. Welcome back to Redefining Possible. I'm your host, Peyton Hoffman, and today we have a very special guest that's been joining us, Rey Viquez. Rey, right before the break, we were talking about what it sounds like, what it looks like to be be a functional addict. You had a business, you owned a business, you were at events, you were designing, you were doing architecture, you're doing amazing things, and yet you secretly had this problem. And so tell me, what was it, the moment where you kind of thought, this really is a problem? And, what were the circumstances around you that really just gave you that concept of this might be impossible? Like, I can't overcome this on my own. Take us to that. Like, what was that?
Well, the first thing I want to start with, Peyton, is there's no such thing as a functioning addict.
Oh, help me reword it then. What would you have called yourself during those years?
The thing, if you think you're functioning and you're an alcoholic, you're not.
Amazing. I love it.
I promise you, you're not.
Yeah.
And you just don't want to admit it, or you cannot admit it. In my case, it started to become incidents where, of course, I would take the phone and I decide to work things out to circa 2 a.m.
Yeah.
That's when texts would go out.
Wow.
And then the next morning I would be like, oh my God, what did I write?
What did I
say? I was afraid to look at my phone the next day. And to be honest with you, in my case, not really a rock bottom where I can say to you, oh my God, I got into a car accident. No, none of that.
Okay.
Luckily, thank God.
Thank God, yeah.
People get into the most horrific rock bottoms. And mine, I remember my sponsor would say it's an emotional rock bottom. And one of the things that I had a problem with was texting somebody in the family. Not my immediate family, but somebody in the family.
But it was one person specifically.
One person, because I was upset at how they had responded to an invitation to an event. And and that is where my family started to, they contacted me and they said, Rey, we know about this, what happened. Yeah, and so to not get into those details, before that though, I would wake up in the morning and I would look at myself in the mirror and I was disgusted with myself.
Oh, right.
And I weighed 65 more pounds than I weigh today.
I was going to say.
And I looked horrible.
Wow.
I would look at the photos now and I think, my God, nothing against being overweight. For me, it was amazing to me how I had gotten to that point.
Yeah.
How I had gotten to that point. And I had gotten into a habit of drinking by myself. And then sometimes I would text people, sometimes I would not.
Okay.
Definitely destroyed a few friendships that were very painful to have destroyed. And then my little habit was by 2 a.m. order the nacho plate from Gardens of Toxco.
Oh, I do love some nachos. I'm not gonna lie.
I remember I would tell my dog, I'm diabetic, type 1 diabetic.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not a good idea.
And my doctor would say to me, Rey, at your age, that's a recipe for a heart attack.
Yeah. You can't be doing that. And so really, this was a reflection of, you saw, when you look at those photos, you see the emotional toll and that health decline that happened over time. So you see that, Rey, you see that version of, wow, you see the pain. I mean, where you're at.
Yeah, I do see the pain. And I remember waking up and every morning saying, I'm not going to do that again tonight, which is very common.
Very common.
Very common. And of course I would quit for 2-3 days and then I would be back at it, or something would happen. And this is another typical thing.
There'd be a trigger kind of thing.
The person not in recovery, there's, you drink because something amazing happened. You just won that new project, so you leave work early, and of course that's when you start. Or something terrible happened and you decide to drink because of that, or you are depressed, or you are upset, or you are angry. And so everything is an excuse to go to really what you think is a solution, but it's not.
So there's a justification. It's interesting that you talked about the celebration side of it too, because I've heard many people speak on, something happened and it was awful and I chose to drink. But, the celebration side, something went right, something was great, something award. Well, I'm going to reward myself with that. And so, that justification of it on either side is really dangerous.
Yeah, and then the other thing I want to say, I want to mention is that alcoholism per se, which is really what I know about, it is a progressive disease.
Yeah.
It starts to distort your mind the moment you have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
And the distortion for somebody that is drinking every day by themselves or with people or however, the distortion of your mind, you really have no clarity, and that's the reason
Wow.
why the functioning alcoholic really doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Because you have your mind is not at all at neutral
Yeah.
ever.
Wow.
Either you are recovering from the night before or you are about to start, and it is you're incarcerated by it.
How did that affect your designs? Like what you were creating, I mean, just because you're like, I didn't have this clarity, how did that, were you still able to do good work, or what? I mean, what was that like?
Well, Peyton, I love that you asked that, because therein fed the delusion that I was in. My business, super successful because I'm a very extroverted person.
Wow.
And I did continue selling.
Okay.
And at times I sold more than my company had capacity for.
Wow.
And definitely it's interesting that when it comes to the creative aspect of it, yeah, I'm the type of person that draws every single day. I draw by hand on my Apple Pencil, and I use a lot of AI nowadays. And what's interesting is there were days that I would take the day off and decide to draw all day. Yeah, and so therefore, and this is kind of a very bohemian, there's definitely a very bohemian aspect to me.
Yeah.
And that would be always, the artist that needs that little drug, that little alcohol to create.
Yeah.
However, it starts to be destructive.
Yeah.
And I really want to make sure I bring the message home to folks that what's interesting is now my work. If I may say so myself,
Please.
I love it.
Oh, I love that.
No, I think
that was what I was hoping for deep down. I was like, please tell me you're loving it more now.
oh, you know what? I had disconnected myself from the joy of life.
Yeah.
Yeah, alcohol had
disconnection.
incarcerated me. I had honestly stopped enjoying my family.
Yeah.
I had stopped seeing things clearly. And I had honestly, it's interesting, emotionally, my work has always been my refuge.
Yes.
And by the way,
That was your safe place,
Yeah.
even as a kid.
Well, I remember my grandmother saying, this little kid, it's like when he starts a drawing and he does another one and another one and another one, obsessive compulsive, that behavior is with you from birth.
Yeah.
And now when I think back, when I've done my inventories, I think back and I think, wow, I've had this since I was born.
Right.
Yeah, it's not something you learn. It's really, I feel in my case, and everything I tell you is of course my own point of view, very personal, but definitely the joy of what I do, my drawings, my watercolors, I had lost that. I really had lost that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that hurts even just to hear that, because that's so much of who you are. Wow. So tell me, you got yourself into a program, second time around, and you have this support system, community is involved. How did this shift, getting sober again, how did that change your belief in God, how you perceive God? Tell me how that shifted your faith.
Look, the first thing is to enter a program of recovery where you really, really are honest with yourself. And because you become so delusional, and to truly be honest with yourself and to truly really look at your actions and really look at, your resentments and look at where you created those resentments, and then begin to surrender to a higher power, to God. I call it God. For me, it's God. I am not a religious person. I am definitely a spiritual person. I grew up in a family that wasn't particularly religious, or and I also grew up around a lot of fanatism towards religion in Latin America and Nicaragua.
Yeah, that's true.
And so in my family, definitely critical thinkers. And so I've always appreciated that. But this time around, for me, it was understanding that there is definitely a force, I call it God, that really is, for me, one big ball of energy. And the moment that you connect, that you surrender to God, and you really just let yourself get out of the way.
That's so key
And
for so many people, for all of us.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something, Peyton. My life fell apart.
Yeah.
Fell apart a year into sobriety. It fell apart completely. And many things happened that were horrific, and I was overwhelmed.
Wow.
Truly overwhelmed. And I remember that at that time, that's when I really did find that turning to God, meditation. I've always been a meditator, by the way. It's 10, 15 years in meditation and mindfulness. But this time around, it was really about being honest and saying, why don't I just get out of my own way, and whatever situation I've got in front of me that seems so negative and it seems like an attack on me, how about I stop the alcoholic mind from being defensive?
Wow.
And how about I say, what is the message I'm supposed to learn from this activity towards me that feels so negative and attackful of me?
That's a whole shift in perspective. I want to dive into that a little bit more right when we come back, as well as how that changed your perception on what's possible for your life. So more with Rey here on Redefining Possible when we come back. Welcome back to Redefining Possible. I'm your host, Peyton Hoffman, here continuing our amazing conversation with Rey Viquez. Before the break, Rey, we were talking about the second time you went into sobriety, and you had a wonderful program to support you. You had community for the first time, and truly, surrendering a lot of your life and a lot of this journey to God was transformational for you. Talk to me about just how other people in your life, how did they react to you deciding to get sober again? How did they talk to me about how that reaction was. Were you supported? Were you not supported? What did that look like for you?
Well, you know what, Peyton, that I definitely want to start with the fact that whenever you make a change, it's so interesting to me because it ruffles the feathers of the folks that love you most or those around you.
Ooh.
Yeah, whenever you make a change, you are becoming a mirror onto something that they will either applaud, something that they will relate to, or something that they'll become defensive against. And I find that pretty fascinating because when it comes to colleagues in my business, that would say, "Oh, you quit drinking? Well, maybe I should quit drinking." That's the one.
Oh, that's wonderful. You want that?
And it's a mirror where they begin to do their own inventory. In my case, I definitely do come from a family that's a little bit more on the private side, and I'm definitely not a private person. I mean, my business, I'm extremely I'm extremely public about my business, about what I do, and that's how I have. That's the success of my company, and really my entire existence since I was in art school. And so with that, I think there's always a concern from the family. What are you going to be sharing? Who are you hanging out with? Are you in a cult?
I get that. What is happening?
Are you, my sister was the best. She said, I know you're very impressionable. I said to her, you make me sound like I'm a 5-year-old. And we laugh at it now. Yeah. Now we laugh because a year and a half into my sobriety, last time I was in Miami, I had a wonderful conversation with them where I said to them, you guys, no, I'm not in a cult, you can see that. Number two, the improvement in my life is just, for me,
night and day.
Mind-blowing at times, times. Yeah, they saw me go through a major setback. Wow. They definitely were incredibly supportive of that. My entire family, my friends, my colleagues. And I will say that the key thing to keep in mind here is do not keep isolating yourself.
Yeah.
Make sure you talk to folks. Folks, you may not have decided to go into a program, but if you talk to a friend, a family member, even if they don't have the problem, there will be solutions. And now I definitely live in a wonderful community of folks, a wonderful network. Yeah, but in the beginning, it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not. And it sounds like you had some friends who were really supportive and maybe some who were not, and family were they just wondering, is this real? Is this, is this going to take? Is this, was there kind of a doubt of like, okay, is he serious about this kind of thing? Or
well, see, that in my case, I do want to talk about my family when it comes to this, because since I didn't have like a tragic bottom,
Right.
they were more like, you're exaggerating. You really don't need this. Yeah,
Oh,
really, it was
wow.
more like the idea that you're not living under a bridge and you haven't lost everything.
Wow.
We don't know, we don't see you. And I said to them,
So
"That's
they really
because
didn't think it was a problem.
they
It's
didn't
like,
think it was a problem. They knew I had a problem with it, but not to the extent that I was talking about it.
Wow.
And then a few weeks ago, I was on the phone with my sister, who is, by the way, my rock.
I love
She
that.
really,
I
she
love
is.
that.
Oh, she is my rock. And I know that. I mean, she's always looked after me, and I've always been the crazy kid.
So
But
great.
she said, I said to her, I'm so into my practice, my program, my spirituality, what I'm doing. I'm full speed ahead into it. And she said, yeah, we all knew that was going to happen, because you never do anything half-ass. You always go full on, full speed
I love it.
into it. And she said, like every one of your projects and every one of your life endeavors, you always take it on full speed ahead, both feet in. So I thought it was really cute that she said that.
I love that. Well, and really, you took yourself on as your most important project and said, I'm going to focus on me, and I'm going to make me a priority, and my health and my wellness and my life. And I mean, you really did. You went full force for you.
I'm going to step into that statement, because really what you have to take full on is not you, but really surrendering to God.
Yes, but I mean, you took the importance of your life.
Yeah,
as-
I definitely said, I cannot continue like
Yes,
this.
yes.
And therefore, I asked the help of God.
I love that. And that actually helps for folks that are listening and watching that are, in this situation, or maybe they have loved ones in a similar situation. How did coming into, either a program or this community the second time around, how did that change how you view yourself?
Well, you know what, Peyton, in the beginning, I hated myself, which is what I was used to, and being ashamed of myself, and always repairing. And it was really interesting. In the beginning of sobriety, I honestly didn't even know what it was like to not go to that remedy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because it had been for so long.
Yeah, and then now, 19 months into it, there are, the other day I was thinking, everything in my life has changed. Where I live, how I live, my business model, my friends. Here I am sitting
I
with
love
you.
that.
And I
I
really
love
want
that.
to definitely begin to share this with you. The life that I have today, there is no way I could have had that life if I had continued. I probably would be dead by now.
That's amazing.
I probably would be dead.
I'm very glad you're here.
Yeah, and the opportunities, being on your show, to me, the driving over here and praying and thinking, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is truly amazing. The side effects of sobriety, the byproduct of sobriety, is just without limits. It's without limit. Yeah, the for me, the opportunities that have come up in the program that I'm in are without limit, are unthinkable.
I love
If you had said to me a year and a half ago, this is where you'll be today, I would have said, you got to be kidding me.
That looked impossible at the time.
Oh,
And-
at the time, I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror without being ashamed.
Oh my goodness. And look at how this path, I mean, that's really created not just opportunities, but a better you, and, a healthier you, and your story is going to impact so many people. I mean, men and women that are just,
I hope so.
yeah,
I
I
hope
believe so. That have maybe themselves, or they have loved ones that have been on this journey, and maybe they think, oh, I can't be creative without this, or I can't, do what I do without this. And that's the lie, obviously. But I love hearing you say, like, hey, this has changed everything in my life, for the better. I mean, it's really transformed everything. And, that's a part of the show. I mean, that is a part of what we focus on with Redefining Possible is, what's the thing that looked impossible that then became possible? And, how did becoming sober and truly just surrendering it all, how did that change for you? What's even your view of what's possible for your life? And
you know what, Peyton, I have a key word here, humility.
yeah.
Humility. And folks watching this that know me are probably going to laugh, because I was not known for my humility. I was not known for I was definitely always over the top, and I still am. And I mean, definitely when it comes to the good things about being over the top, my design work, publicity,
Absolutely.
my extrovertedness, my connection with folks. But really the key thing nowadays, every single day, I have a routine. I do my meditation, I do my prayer, I do my journaling. If I don't start the day like that, the day is not going to be a good day.
That is so, I love the self-discipline in that too, to say, I'm somebody who prays and journals early in the morning as well. And so that is a part of my routine. And I love that you've put in these practices and really said, hey, I need this to start my day. I need to start my day right. I need to be intentional about this. And you've made it a priority when, work could take over at 6 a.m. or something else could sidetrack you, and you're choosing not to let it, which I think that's incredible growth in and of itself.
Well, you know what, let's talk about God for a moment, because for me, what I've learned is when I ask God for help, in this case, I used to think, why is God not helping me? Why is this happening to me? Why is this falling apart? Why, and that's when you're like the director trying to control everything. And the moment that you learn to trust God and ask God for help, in my case, it's a mindset. It's a way of, when I say, God, help me with this situation, help me with this challenge, it's really about sitting down, being quiet, praying, and allowing solutions to come in. It's not that miraculously, this and this type of personality from religion is going to fix things for me. No, it's really more about giving me the resources. Where one idea, maybe it's a phone call, maybe it's a conversation where I call the person and say, look, I screwed up. It was a mistake that I made, and trust me, I've made many.
Apologies go a long way, honestly.
And to say, look, this is the situation I was in, this is the mindset I was in, and I'm sorry that this happened, and I will fix it. But also, really, what I find miraculous is some of the solutions that you get. Some of the ideas that you get, some of the angels, I believe in angels, the folks that will call you, will text you out of the blue and say, hey, Ray, haven't heard from you in a while. I'm doing this and this and that. And you're like, oh my God, I could connect this person with this, and we could maybe work this out this way with the help of their services. It's pretty amazing.
It's amazing. And when we come back, I want to dive into how some of those new opportunities are for you and what's coming and on the horizon for you. More with Ray when we come back here on Redefining Possible. Welcome back to Redefining Possible. I'm your host, Peyton Hoffman, continuing our conversation here with Rey Viquez. Ray, before the break, we were talking about how since you've become sober again, you've gotten some of the best ideas you've ever had. The Lord has just opened doors for you with relationships and divine opportunities and assignments and just people and resources. Tell me about what some of those things and what's next on the horizon for you.
Great. Well, you know what, Peyton, I definitely saw with the clarity, with humility in tow, with making sure that I'm of service, with asking myself how, at this point in my life, about to enter my 60s in a few years, where can I take what I've been given? I do think that I've been given an amount of talent, and definitely a lot of resources. How could I be of service? How could I best be of service? And so one of the things that I'm doing is shifting my business from being business to business, working for hotels and the brands that we always have worked for, which we will continue to. I'm launching an online store. We're going online.
Fun.
And we're also going to be doing a show with the McCord Group. And the premise of the show is really about your environment as your vehicle to the success in your life that you desire.
Oh, I love it.
And so meaning if you are really looking to change your life, to transform your life, let's start with your environment.
I love that.
And if you are looking to get into a clean living, so it could be sober living, could be, let's say, clean living. By the way, I became vegan.
Could be diet as well,
I became vegan 4 months ago, and I could not have made a better decision. The point is to shift my focus and into how can my talent help folks. And nowadays, in the wonderful world of online,
Yes.
it could be that folks send me a photo of the room that they cannot stand, and I can help them, and I can help them with DIY solutions, and I can suggest folks things that maybe we could do for them, or I can suggest for them products that are available.
Yeah.
And really, the idea at the core of it is, how do you want to change this room? How do you want to change your life? Is this going to be your meditation room? Is this your living room? Is this going to be your Thanksgiving table, where you want to have a much better Thanksgiving than other years?
Oh, I love it.
How can we make this room lead to better conversations in the family?
It's and healing and transformation. And tell me about the online store a little bit, because I'm curious about that. What kind of things can I buy on the online store? There's probably things you've got in the back of your mind that are not there yet. So
we are launching it with a collection of doggy beds.
Oh my gosh.
The online store is going to be called the Tigre Collection. And that's a little bit, my dad used to he still calls me Tiger. And that's where I got the name for that, the Tigre Collection.
I love that.
Everything in my company is about the third, because that's my grandfather's nickname for me was El Tercero. That's where I took that. And then, so the Tigre Collection is going to start with doggy beds.
Oh my gosh.
And
So custom
everything's going to be custom made to order, we have right now 6 models, and folks can go online and they can look at the model that's available, and then we can customize it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, if you have a German Shepherd versus a little Havanese, we can definitely
that's gonna be a different
customize that for you. Yes, exactly.
Oh, I love it.
So
I know there's plenty of people watching that are going to want that. So
what I find fascinating is, I have clients that I've done major properties for. Major properties for, and the doggy bed that we're creating for them is like the one project that is super important to them. And they
we
want
love our animals. Yes.
Isn't that wild? I find it really interesting that at the core of what I do, and I never mentioned this in our conversation, at the reason why design is fascinating to me is it's a way to study life for me.
Absolutely.
It's a way to study human behavior.
I agree with that.
And so with the doggy beds, I'm learning more about human behavior than ever.
Well, animals, especially dogs and cats, animals are family. So it's really interesting. I don't have any pets right now, but when I have had pets, they're family. They're absolutely family. So I get it 100%. So you're learning a new part of the family.
Well, right now I'm designing a bed. And by the way, I say we a lot because it's always a team.
The team, yep.
It's not that I have multiple personalities, although I might.
I was following that, but yeah.
But we're designing a bed for our client, and the doggy is going to get a replica that's going to be at the foot of the bed. Yeah.
Stop.
Wilfred's getting his own bed.
And Wilfred gets his own.
It is similar fabrics.
I can't.
By the way, I go crazy with them.
I love that.
Yeah, I do go crazy with them.
I love that.
I love the conversations. I love the detail. I love the importance. And then when we bring it in, the doggies do love it, but they couldn't care any less sometimes. But I think the joy.
You're bringing in so much joy. I love that about where you are right now is, you're able to be present for that joy in a way that, I would say you probably couldn't have been present for before.
Thank you so much, Peyton. And then lastly, with this that's the start. We're launching this end of August, September.
Great.
But then for the holidays, we are gonna have home accessories.
Oh, I love that.
Meaning throw pillows, throw blankets, maybe tablecloths, maybe table runners.
So expanding. I love this.
Slip covers. Yeah, we did a lot this summer with patio furniture, where you could send me the dimensions of the patio cushions in your house in Oklahoma, and we could make you the covers, and you'd be amazed at the change that will make.
Wow, that's amazing.
We did one patio where we changed just the covers.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
nice. It's easily shippable, and folks can have them or their kids place the cushions in place, and it's amazing the transformation.
Oh, I'm sure.
So for the holidays, I definitely
fun.
want people to be the envy of their in-laws.
Oh, yes.
So much more spiritual.
So
much more spiritual. I want them to be the envy of their in-laws, and I'm definitely ready to give you guys the tools for that.
For folks that maybe haven't been on the site before, what is the website, just so we know?
The website is tigre3.co.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
just so people can find it and they can look it up, because it sounds amazing. And then, as we wrap up, for those who've been watching, for those who've been listening to your whole journey, which is incredible to see where you've been, the talent you've had all along, and just what you've overcome, honestly, right? I think it's just really empowering for so many people. And what advice would you give first to somebody who may be struggling with addiction, is listening to this, watching this, but like you said, is not living under a bridge, is working, what would you say to that person, man or woman? And then what would you say to a loved one? How can someone best support if they have a loved one who's struggling in this?
Well, you know what, I would definitely say seek help. There's a lot of programs out there. I mean, certainly if you want to make my information available to folks, that I'm here to be of service. Definitely stay out of your own head and do not isolate, and seek help with a family member, a colleague, a friend, and really do seek a program. A program of recovery. I mean, here in Los Angeles, God only knows there's
many.
And I definitely recommend seeking a community. Nowadays, you can go on AI and say, I have this and this and this problem. What sources are out there for help? Certainly, definitely your medical, the folks that take care of your health, your doctor, your family doctor. I'm just trying to think of honestly, it's really about not staying quiet.
And being open about it.
Being open about it, not being ashamed, or somebody that you truly trust. It's all baby steps.
It is.
It's all baby steps. So do tell somebody that can help you locate help.
And if you're a loved one, so let's say you're a sibling or maybe a parent who suspects that someone may have a problem, how do you best support them if maybe they're not at that realization yet?
Well, if the person that is in the addiction is not really ready to admit it, the worst thing you can do is judge.
Okay.
And the worst thing you can do is come from a place of judgment or from a place of score taking or comparison or
that's so good,
or bringing in old resentments, really or bringing in some of the actions that the person may have done, as much as it may have been hurtful. The best thing is to remain neutral and
that's
to say to them, look, I think you have a problem and let's find help for you. But the last thing you want to do is be accusatory.
Add more shame on.
Because the person is only going to retrieve back more.
I think that's beautiful advice, honestly. And
it's hard to do.
It's hard, and I haven't heard someone say that before. So I think that's
it's
really
hard to
important.
do, but it's definitely really important that you really put for a moment your own hurt that they may have caused on you and your own self, your own stuff, and say, look, we need to get you to help. We need to make a phone call today. Let's find you, and really focus on, at the beginning, and then once that person is on track, it's really not your problem. It never was. And that's something that I also want to make sure is very clear here. The person with the problem is the person with the problem.
Agreed.
And the folks around them do not have the problem, but are suffering from it. And so really you want to make sure you keep your boundaries. And you want to make sure that you are very aware of your own boundaries, your own inventory, and your own self to help them to an extent.
I love that. Well, Rey, thank you so much for being here. It has been amazing having you.
It's been an honor.
Oh, thank you. That's it for this episode of Redefining Possible. More to come next time.
What happens when the thing you've barely dared to dream for actually comes true? How does it change you when what you've been believing for and almost given up hope on finally becomes reality? The Redefining Possible podcast spotlights guests with stories of insurmountable odds who have witnessed the impossible become possible with God.